Mr. Chair, I'm here to present Senate Bill 584. First of all, I want to thank you and your colleagues for all the hard work you're doing on trying to reduce future wildfires. I know you have personal experience, and we've got certainly the LA Times came out with a pretty interesting fire map. Excuse me, this is the Registers. The LA Times came out with a good one too, but this just came out the other day. But so many areas in our part of the state that are subject to wildfire. And so we have them being caused by sparking electric lines. So colleagues, with the investor-owned utilities already having special funds for addressing overhead power lines for purposes of beautification, known as Rule 20A or B and C, the goal of SB 584 is to better utilize these funds for the areas with the highest fire risk, Tier 3, to minimize the impacts on people and property from utility-associated wildfires. SB 584 would provide for matching fund opportunities, allowing the IOUs to partner with willing communities for a conversion program to underground certain electrical infrastructure. Funding would also be made available from the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, the GGRF. SB 584 provides a professional framework of cooperation between a client community and an electric utility provider. It provides access to existing tools and revenues for a win-win opportunity. We have utilities who learned hard lessons 2 decades ago. They have been hardening assets methodically over the past 20+ years, and SB 584 continues this effort with a method to expedite smart transmission of power in the safest collaborative manner, and I have witnesses in support.
Very good. Thank you, Senator Morley.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Corey Williams on behalf of the bill sponsor, the City of Laguna Beach. The City of Laguna Beach is a small community in Southern California with about 23,000 residents. We are surrounded by oceans, hills, canyons, and over 16,000 acres of wild space. Our almost 9-square-mile city welcomes over 6 million tourists a year. In addition, there are 500,000 residents in adjacent communities that border our open space. Approximately 85% of the city is located in a very high fire hazard severity zone, with approximately 55% within the Tier 3 zone. The residents and tourists access the city through 2 state highways, Pacific Coast Highway and State Route 133, better known as Laguna Canyon Road. These are the only 2 ways in or out of the city. Laguna Canyon Road is a 2-lane, windy road through dry wilderness bordered by 181 utility poles. These poles are a clear public safety risk for our community. Since 2007, there have been over 60 vehicle versus pole accidents on Laguna Canyon Road, shutting down the road dozens of times, in some cases for days, due to fallen power lines which block off access points in and out of our community. In the last 12 years, there have been at least 4 fires in the open space in the city that have been sparked by down utility lines and poles. As many have done, the City of Laguna Beach visited Paradise in January to see what lessons we could learn from the disaster there and apply them to our community. We learned that, like Laguna, Paradise suffered from limited ingress and egress routes, and during the crucial early hours of the fire, evacuation routes were blocked by down utility poles and lines. As one of the CAL FIRE incident commanders told the city, the down power poles were a huge problem during the evacuation process. SB 584 will create a means of creating safe evacuation routes in high fire risk areas. The 2018 wildfire season was the deadliest and most destructive wildfire season on record in California, with a total of 8,527 fires, which burned the largest amount of acreage recorded in a fire season. CAL FIRE has determined that at least 19 wildfires in 2017 and 2018 were caused by utility lines and equipment. The easy pushback on undergrounding is that it's too expensive, but this is a short-sighted analysis that focuses only on the upfront cost. When you factor in the human loss, the property damage, the health hazards and costs, the environmental damage to water resources, forests, and open space, the mountains of hazardous waste created, and that greenhouse gas emitted from one major wildfire offsets an entire year of savings from greenhouse gas reduction programs in California, you begin to realize the true costs of utility-caused wildfires. By relocating the hazardous utility poles below ground in Tier 3 fire zones, we are investing in smart infrastructure that looks to the future. The financial toll for homeowners, renters, businesses, and the state in the past 2 fire seasons has topped $10 billion in insured losses each year. Local governments have been negatively impacted with reduced tax revenues and added expenses, and the state has had to shoulder the firefighting costs of hundreds of millions to see these fires undermine key environmental goals. It's time for the legislature to create a program that will hold utilities accountable to expedite undergrounding projects, ask impacted jurisdictions to contribute to the cost of these projects, and provide a fair funding mechanism through the state to support these projects.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you have others in support?
I think that's it.
Okay. And I don't think we have any opposition either here today. Correct? Very good. Members, do you have questions, comments, motions? Various motions. We'll go with Senator Borges as the motion. Yeah, my own city also in support. We appreciate you bringing this forward, matching requirements. We know that those roads and many others, the amount you had in here even then outstrips the total available. I mean, we're just going to be under the gun. This is going to have to be one important part of the solution set. It's going to be a hard one to solve all in one, even one community at a time, but I appreciate you bringing this forward and would certainly yeah, we have a motion, but want to help you moving this forward. We got to solve this problem. This 20A backlog's a mess. We need some additional funding. So thanks for working with us. I'll allow you to close at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the vigorous debate. I've been meeting, now that I'm on energy with the world-famous Senator Hueso as chair, and I've been getting a lot of visits from a lot of utilities, a lot of cities. And Anaheim has its own electric utility, and they have, for the last 20 years, been methodically, slowly, but steadily reducing and moving their lines underground in 98% of their wildfire zones. It's taken 2 decades, but they've made a methodical effort on it, and we know that Sempra is doing the same in the San Diego area, just methodically working. And so here we have a partnership opportunity. I think it's not going to fix it overnight, but if we can just start methodically working at this, over time we will save lives and property, and I respectfully request an aye vote.